Welcome to Side Roads. I'm Carlos, and this is a 2024 Mazda CX-30 Turbo. Super thankful to the team at Coburg Mazda for facilitating the car for this video. The 2024 Mazda CX-30 Turbo. This is a top trim for the CX-30 lineup, and this, because of the addition of this turbo engine, it sets this subcompact SUV to a whole new different level. So much so that I cannot compare with the regular subcompact SUVs, but we will get there in a bit. So the CX-30 Turbo comes with a 2.5 liters 4-cylinder turbo engine obviously, that produces 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. And right there is where there's nothing else in the subcompact class that will produce that level of power. So it will be really unfair to put it against the regular subcompact, mainstream brands and vehicles. So I'm running a little experiment here with this car because by now you should know that the CX-30 is really premium, and the inside and the equipment, the features, everything. And with the addition of this engine that sets her up really at a premium, not luxury because, Mazda is not there yet, but for sure a premium brand to compete against. So based on the engine alone, and also based on how premium this is, and a little bit on the shape of the car, because this is not a square off subcompact SUV, more like a hatchback, lifted hatchback type of shape, I have chosen luxury brands to compete against. And bear with me, because you will see in the graphics that there are so many elements that make sense. So I have chosen the competitors for the CX-30 Turbo, the Infiniti QX55 and the Mercedes-Benz GLA, both because of the shapes mostly. I think we could throw there the BMW X2, but the new model is kind of bigger, and I think it separates a little bit further, but I'm sure if I put it there, at least in terms of engine and horsepower and all that, will be pretty close. So that's that. And why am I doing this? Well, to a certain level, Mazda put a lot of efforts in these cars. They are above their class that they compete against typically. This car is very premium and has so many elements that really are truly special, that I think is a little bit fair. And the other thing I think we all need to consider is give Mazda $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per car, and I'm sure this will be way better than any of those. So keep that in mind. You want a premium car with a lot of power, with a compact size, you need to consider this one. Fuel efficiency for the Mazda CX-30 with the turbo engine is 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers city and 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers highway, which is 22 mpg city and 30 mpg highway. Price for the CX-30 Turbo from Mazda starts in Canada around 40,000 Canadian dollars, and the top trim goes around 41,000 Canadian dollars. In the US, the base price of the CX-30 with the turbo engine starts around 33,000 US dollars, and the top trim comes around 36,000 US dollars. There are a few packages to add here or there, not a lot. Mazda sets their vehicles with the prices based on the trim. There are things like paint colors, and if you choose the turbo or not, and some small things, but the prices should be pretty close to those once you choose. Safety features for the Mazda CX-30 are things like advanced blind spot monitoring, rear traffic alert, Mazda radar, cruise control, smart city brake support, front, distance and speed alert, pedestrian detection, forward sensing, distance recognition support system, forward obstruction warning, lane keep assist, lane departure warning system, high beam control, and driver attention alert. That's a lot, and pretty good. The Mazda CX-30 turbo interior, it is super nice in here, especially for the class and somehow for the price. So all the materials are soft and nice looking and high quality and expensive looking too. You have to sit here. I don't think the video captures this, but you have to sit here to understand I'm not sitting in a cheap car. So that's very good, and also Mazda aspiration and Mazda very well execution in their interiors for a while now. So I have this two-tone dashboard. This is like a dark brown here. It creates a little bit of contrast and adds something to the cabin, so it looks really nice. It comes here to the doors as well, and to the supporting part, the handles of the doors, so there is something here. This chrome that goes around the vents and then connects to the air conditioning controls, so it is really nice. The design of the air vents as well. The steering wheel is beautiful and nice in your hands. It is wrapped in leather and heated for sure. The windows are power, one touch up and down for the 4 windows. That's something that I really like. And the seats are leather too, and they are all black, but there is a little bit of contrast stitching. It's a dark brown, so it's harder to see, and I don't think the camera will capture that either, but in person it looks good, adds a little bit to the cabin, and it's perforated, and in the perforation too there is a little bit of color. So there is a lot of attention to detail here, maybe not that clear to the eye, but this looks expensive and well done, and money worth. The glove box is on the decent size, I would say, and I have a shelf there, so you have 2 levels for your glove box. There is a wireless charging for your phone here, 2 cup holders. The center console goes back and then opens, and it has a different nice size, I will say, and there is this theme to create a division here, and you can separate your stuff, so it's all good here. The center console is high, so it feels nice and close to you, so it's really easy to maneuver the car, and you can rest your elbow here and have this move around. It's a traditional shifter, which I love, and it's perfectly fine. And this portion here is also leather wrap and padded, so when you rest your knee, it's more comfortable as well. So this is based on the design of the interior of the Mazda 3, but it's higher because the car is taller, and it have all this brown portion is different. So there are elements here, the vents, that are not exactly like a Mazda 3, so I appreciate that from Mazda. There is a 7 inches digital display in the middle of the 2 analog gauges, and it's pretty simple. You can configure a little, not a lot, but it gives you some options and information there, and all the car information and everything will pop up in that screen as well. This is a 11 or 12 inches infotainment screen. I'll confirm in the video. and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and is perfectly clear. It's located high, so it helps for your visibility while driving. I like this. It is on top of the dashboard, but it's somehow integrated with the design, so it doesn't look just something that was put there in the last minute. There is a design and a thought process behind the cabin here. The air conditioning controls are all hard buttons and physical buttons. I like this, and as I said, there is heated seats and heated steering wheel on this unit, and it's dual, so the passenger and the driver can have their own temperature if they choose to do so. The infotainment system is controlled by this rotary knob. Here is typically of Mazda. To me, it's pretty easy to use. I own a few Mazdas already, and it's also easy to use while driving, and you can barely have to move when using them, so I like it. Most people prefer a touchscreen. When this is in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can go touch. The screen is a little bit far from the driver, but I reach with no problem. But again, this body movement is worse than just use the rotary knob, so at least you have the option now from Mazda, so it's good. There is a small or a regular sunroof here, and the back seats are comfortable. I fit behind myself barely, but I fit. If a space is your thing, you should look for other options, but it's comfortable. And if you are not a tall person, you will be fine there. And there is an armrest for the back seat as well. The trunk seems big enough and practical enough, in my opinion. I really like this interior. It screams premium, it screams not a regular mainstream brand. By the way, there is a Bose premium sound system, and it sounds really, really good too. So I like it. Do I think that this compares in the interior and the tech to the ones that I mentioned, the Mercedes and the Infiniti? To the Infiniti, much more, but the Mercedes you sit on, and of course there is a wow factor. There are the screens, there's only one screen, and it's a little bit more tech forward, I would say. But from the functionality perspective, everything is here. If Mazda added a digital gauge cluster, to me that will be close enough. But yes, I get it. Now those are $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more. So are you willing to pay that for a screen, while this car can give you everything that those can give you for a lot less? It's your choice. So how is to drive the Mazda CX-30 Turbo? I have driven one of these before for the channel with the regular engine, and it was fantastic. So this is of course even better for several reasons. Let me start with the cabin. It's really quiet in here, and I'm sure Mazda adds some level of extra insulation in the turbo and probably the top trim with the regular engine, but I'm sure in this one at least, to add to that luxury or premium feeling on the cabin because of the price and the engine and the whole thing. So it's really, really quiet, and that right there makes you feel that you are buying a much more premium car than necessarily a Mazda. Then the suspension. I love this suspension. It sucks up the imperfections from the road with no issues, pretty easy, but also it keeps the car super tied down to the road. It's really dynamic, and it feels so composed, and it's almost asking you to push the car harder, and I love that in a car. That's a personal preference. Some people may find this car on the firm side. I think Mazda have done a calibration here that the car, yes, it feels firm and planted and responsive and safe, but it's not uncomfortable at all. There is a level of softness and separating or isolating the road from the cabin for the comfort side, but not for the driving dynamic side. How did they do that? I have no idea, but I'm telling you, this is one of the most satisfying cars I have driven for the channel so far in terms of suspensions and response. The brakes are nice and responsive. They are progressive. They feel strong enough for this car, which is good. And you know, this has a lot of power, so you need to make sure that you have stopping power too. The steering weight is also on the heavy side, I will say. Not something uncomfortable, not something that will make the car hard to drive, especially in small maneuvers and in the city and parking and all that. But it's a sporty, calibrated steering, I will say. So check that out if you are in the market for something, because that may be a deal breaker for some people. Once again, it's my preferred type of steering. It's really responsive, really direct. It makes the car respond exactly at the time that you want it to respond, and takes inputs with no issues. It's very dynamic, the whole driving formula in this car. So that's really good. I like it a lot. Like, it makes the car feels even more sporty. So that's good there. Visibility is good. The windows are a little bit up on the cabin. I like that because it makes you feel like a cocoon, like you are, you know, part of the car or protected by the car. But yes, you know, the windows are shorter than so many other SUV. There is a big blind spot in the C-pillar. The back window is big enough. You can see everything from the back mirrors. The side mirrors are big enough as well. I think in general it's pretty good here. I will say only the C-pillar blind spot there, but you have the mirrors and you have blind spot monitoring and a 360 camera in this turbo engine, or turbo engine trim. So you should be good. The transmission is a 6-speed. I didn't mention that before. It's a Mazda transmission. I love this transmission. It's really fast to downshift. Always know where to be. Always go and fast where you needed to downshift, and upshift easily too for a chill cruising type of driving. So I really like it. The market has now 8 and 9 and 10 speed transmissions, which are fine, and I'm sure it will be even more efficient if this car decided to go with one of those. But I like this transmission. It makes also the car feel a little bit more sporty, and I think it's fine. I think I have never had an issue with this. I used to own a Mazda 3 with this transmission and a Mazda CX-30, so I've driven this for years, and I like this. The seats are really, really comfortable, I find, and the whole driving here is just crazy. This car screams to push it harder. And I think more than the excitement or funny part of that is the safety part. I think anybody who drives this will be feeling so safe, because the car is so responsive and so controllable and so tight, and it's just special in my opinion. I really, really like this car. And of course, the star of this car, the engine, this 2.5 liter turbo with that much horsepower and torque for this little car is just amazing. Maybe a little bit too much considering the weight of the car. Yes, it's all-wheel drive standard, and of course this one has that, so it helps with the weight. But when you push it, you know, it's so powerful that you feel that the engine will take off by itself. That to me is a good thing. But you know, if you push the car too hard, maybe tricky from some people. But I don't think anybody. I think the power adds to the premium and luxury and above the class sensation more than the power itself. It's not tuned like a Mazda Speed or a racing car. It's tuned for power and comfort. It gives you this sense of you have everything you need, especially in an emergency or something like that, or all the power to take off when you need. So it adds to the whole experience more than the racing experience, I would say. I really, really like this car. I will totally buy this car for myself. I can recommend this car. Check for the price. the competition. The turbo elevates this from the class, but there are some that are closer. So I think this is worth considering. Really like it. The 2024 Mazda CX-30 Turbo can only be compared with the luxury premium brands. It's that good.